get started, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We've got two awesome people with us today. We've got Randy Carroll, who's my co-host on this one. We usually co-host the Chime In webinars for the Chime CRM. So if you're in the Chime community, we'll see you there. But today we're co-hosting this one. We've got Tyler, and is it Auerbacher?
Auerbacher.
Auerbacher.
Same thing.
That sounds even sexier. Dude. I love that.
Yeah. I try, man. I know. It's a tough name. It's been butchered my entire life, so I've had
I like that. All right. So he is the co-founder of Dippidi, and if you haven't heard of them, then you probably missed that awesome deep dive event they did earlier this year, where they had Tom Ferry, they had Gary Vaynerchuk. If you missed that one, you've got to at least listen in to that Gary V Tom one, because it's so good. It's a very good one. So Tyler, you run a really cool social media lead generation company. Can you tell me more about that and then how it works with Chime?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thank you guys for having me again. We had a annual conference, our Dippidi Deep Dive, and we had Gary V, Tom Ferry, Jason Pantana, Tristan. We had just a few of the rock stars that are in the industry just to give value back and talk about the top marketing, branding, advertising strategies for the real estate industry specifically. So it was a free virtual event. Our goal was, like I said, just to give back to the industry in ways that are outside of just the agency world of what we do for clients to take off their plate. We still want to give educational content and things that will add value to complement what we do too. So that's the whole goal of the conference and our webinar series too, is just to give back in that sense. But yeah, Dippidi, we are a done-for-you marketing agency for the real estate industry. We focus on Google PPC, social media advertising, content creation for your website like Chime. Really, Chime's our main affiliate partner. We love working with Chime because it puts us in the best position to get results for our clients. Because Dippidi, we don't have a technology. There's no proprietary software. There's no dashboard. So we really leverage the tools and technologies that our clients have invested in to mix with our custom advertising strategies. So we leveraged all the landing pages, the CRM, the action plan drip sequences, all those things that are the secret sauce to Chime. We make sure that there's ammo and there's some momentum to power those things. So but yeah, man, we're very big nerds. We like to just focus on analytics and getting results and building brands, getting more leads and opportunities for clients. Our goal is just to become a part of their team. So that's what we do here at Dippidi.
I like that, man.
One of the things I wanted to dive in today with you, Tyler, is different from Google PPC, social media advertising. Most people have a pretty general idea of what that is already, but what I think makes y'all's service so unique is the brand development and content development that y'all do in order to help grow the client's name, help provide some more SEO traffic ultimately. But I'd like to hear a little bit more about how you do brand development, because I think that's something that is often underlooked by realtors, because it's a long-term game. It's not instant results. PPC, I start my PPC campaign, I get a lead, right? Branding is for the long haul. And so it gets lost in the shuffle. So I'd love to hear just about what y'all are doing on that side.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in my opinion, branding is the first way that you attract the right type of people that you want to work with, right? So the way that you want to think about your brand is it's almost what are your passions? What are your interests? What style, what kind of, vibe do you want to bring to your marketing to be different? Because you want to be memorable and create valuable experiences ongoing. And you have to have, flair. You have to have a unique spin on things to really stand out. So branding is everything. Before you can do marketing, before you can do advertising, if you have a stronger brand presence, it'll benefit you and it'll help you get more results, because if anything, with remarketing and just getting more website traffic, all those things are compound effects. So if you have a well-established brand that you can continuously educate, entertain, or inform your audiences in different ways, not just real estate centric, but, like I said, showing other diverse content. And I'm excited because at Dippidi, we're creating a video marketing playbook, and we're actually releasing that next month, actually. So our goal is to really help clients and help just people in the industry know exactly what these branding type posts, these videos, these campaigns can be, because that's exactly what you said, Randy. That's the biggest hurdle people have, because it's a longer game. It requires strategy and consistent time and effort and resources. Google PPC, you can be a newly established business and run PPC out of the gates. If you're doing social advertising or social marketing, you have to rely on your brand. You have to rely on your website and the experiences that you're providing. So all the traffic that you're driving to that matters. So, you can have the best ad campaign in the world, but if your branding sucks, if your messaging doesn't, connect for the audience or for your consumer, then you're wasting your ad budget, because your branding isn't that first pillar. Like one thing also, Randy, like the attract, engage, delight, a flywheel model. Yeah. So like the inbound marketing philosophy, attract, engage, and delight, or convert. Really those three levels are the type of experiences that you want to give ongoing. So branding, in a sense, almost is that attract level. It's that first phase that you show people, hey, I'm Randy. I like this, I like that. This is my style. This is my market. Here's who the people that I want to attract to work with. So branding, I think, is everything, but we help clients do that consistently. So some clients are more ahead than others, but at the end of the day, you have to get in the game. Otherwise you'll be on the sidelines, and that's not where you want to be.
And I've got a great story about why branding is so important and just the different dynamics that branding brings to the table. So my fiance just finished her first year in real estate. She did quite well for a new agent. Did I think just over 4 million in sales. So like nothing to shake a stick at. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. And she does some online advertising. So Google PPC, shout out to my guy, Brian Short. And, but she doesn't have that brand yet. Right. So it's been a really interesting dynamic for me to watch. Right. So everyone who's ever discounted me for just being a tech guy and I don't understand real estate because I'm not in it. Now I know it. Now I know it very well.
Breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. What I've seen be so interesting is the online leads don't care about a brand because they come to her website, they look at properties, she calls them, talks to them about properties, and they go out and she helps them buy or sell a home, right? So whatever. But it's some of the offline leads, right? So anything other than Google or Facebook advertising, right? That have asked more of the questions of like, who are you? Where you come from? Like my fiance is not from Atlanta, right? So she doesn't have that brand development yet, and she's lost business because she doesn't have that brand, and that's something that she's really working on doing. That's her next step.
Or she's probably just going up against other, competitors, people are also maybe interviewing that have a larger brand presence. So those are things that you have to combat and have those talking points around. But I absolutely as you know, Randy, like even with Dippidi, like the way that we grow our business and attract the people that we want to work with is by giving valuable free educational content, doing a huge, massive yearly conference for free, doing weekly, fun posts for our social following. There's things that, you need to think about. What are those content pillar ideas? What are those angles? What are those weekly series that you can consistently execute on to grow your brand? Because that, you're always going to have competitors that are in Google PPC. You're always going to have competitors that are doing other Zillow ads. But if you're competing against other people's brands, that is one thing that you have the absolutely sole control over. You have the ability to grow your brand the way that you want to, with a purpose and with a strategy, and not to rely on a third party entity like, other lead gen, solutions out there.
Right.
You want to be your own brand builder, your own lead generator. And if you can't, that's when, there's teams like us that can help, just help you focus on what you do best. Because obviously there's things that, we do the same thing here at Dippidi. Like, we don't do our own accounting. I can tell you that. Like, there's things that, our time, and just like you guys, there's time is money. And that's really the way we started Dippidi was, there's so many different technologies out there. There's so many different options. And what I hear all the time is just, I need help executing. I need help consistently doing these things that I know that there's value in. I still don't have the time. I don't have the will. I don't have the desire. And these things change. And I mean, the shit frustrates us sometimes too. Like, these are uncharted waters. I was talking to Jason Pantana yesterday. The marketing is just some uncharted waters that we're all navigating together. So as these things evolve, and as these platforms like Instagram has updates and changes, those are things that we have to analyze and adapt with. So, but no matter how we communicate as humans, it always boils down to your brand and that flywheel, to get that flywheel moving, to engage people and then to delight or convert them. You have to attract them first. So the first thing is to attract.
Well, to your point, even, Google and Facebook could change their business model tomorrow, and anyone who relies exclusively on them for their business is SOL, right?
Yep.
But your brand doesn't shut off, right? Your brand doesn't change its business model until you change your business model. Like, your brand is essentially etched in stone once you've developed it. So it's a long
your
game.
Brand,
it's tough.
Like Gary said this recently. I hope I don't butcher it, but he said, I love branding and I love sales, but I love the idea of branding more because it does sales for me when I'm not selling. So it is exactly what you said. It does. If you have a well-established brand, when people are vetting you out and they're doing their research, which is, people are doing that in 2021, we have all these things at our fingertips. People are doing their research. You have the opportunity to give those experiences and show what you're doing on social, on your website, even on your follow-up strategies. Those things matter too. So that's where Chime comes into play. When people, inquire, it's a big difference versus other, solutions that we've had, experience on. It's just, you guys have done a great job, and that's why we love working with, clients that are on Chime too.
Well, think about this. What's one of the first things you do when you meet someone, or you consider working with someone in a professional sense, right? You Google them, right? I went to, I was looking for pest control person, went to a website, filled out some forms, was given some names, Googled them right away. Which ones of these are legit? Which ones aren't? Right.
Yep. Yeah, and everybody communicates differently, So like, you may Google Randy, but I typically go on LinkedIn, I go on Instagram. Everybody communicates differently. So I think it's important also to just keep in mind, just to have that omni-channel presence too. Like, good's better than great, done's better than perfect. So, I don't want people to get overwhelmed to thinking there's so many different, things to do, but, those 4 or 5 different areas, social, email, website, follow-up strategies, like all those things just need to be dialed in at the bare bones to give those experiences off in the right way.
Dude, I just interviewed a lady. She's the first Black female NFL agent, and she has like 29 amazing NFL clients, right? Some of them are
Oh,
massive.
That's awesome.
good for her.
And
That's
she
phenomenal.
said the one thing that they understand at an early stage, these football players, is that they are the brand. They understand it, but they don't understand it at the same time because, they do some crazy stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same way, real estate agents sometimes don't understand that at the core now, no longer are we looking at something like this, right? Back in the day, where this is the brand. No, it goes deeper than that now. You are your brand.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work on that on a daily basis, right? That's forgotten. And we have to bring that together because you're not just a logo, you're not just your colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's everything that you're putting out there. Like Tyler said earlier on, it's like the content, the consistency of the message being delivered and the way you're delivering it, different platforms, right? So I think if you're going to work on anything, work on yourself first. What do you look like? What is that perception that you want people to see when they're looking at your social media? Or do you even have a brand that people are looking at? Right.
Yeah.
So,
And no,
I have a question for you, Tyler, on this.
yeah, absolutely.
And then you could say whatever you want there, but where would people start if they're looking to be like, hey, you know what? I want to work on my brand. It gets so confusing for just any business to be like, well, where do I start? Is it really just the colors and the logo? Where do I start?
So I think the biggest thing that I think people fail to think about when they're starting a brand is their niche target market and their communication messaging to them. I think people just kind of look over that, and it's kind of just more of a generic, model. But I think first and foremost, you have to be strategic in who you're attacking, who you're going after, and the more niche that you are in your marketing and then driving them back to your website, that communication stays consistent, that you are that localized niche agent on that one area or two areas, whatever that may be. But I'm a big believer in niching down and then doubling down on your social content around those niches. So basically, if you're thinking about creating some content, it has to be consistently on social to drive home those topics or those pillars. So think about those 3 or 4, different, not only just interests or hobbies or passions, but think about educational series or favorite things to do in the area, or, just opinions or predictions. There's weekly content topics that you could, consistently batch and create content that build your brand in that sense too. So of course your logo, your color scheme, your font style, all that stuff matters too. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is you have to be 110% certain that you can facilitate and act upon the consistent content to drive home that brand messaging. Because I think people have disconnect there. So that's my 2 cents.
Good. That makes sense. Randy,
So I think creating content is intimidating for a lot of people. Do you have some advice on how to go about content creation?
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to be authentic. You want to attract the people that you want to work with. At the end of the day, you're going to get burnt out if you aren't doing that, if you're being fake, if you're just putting on a front. I think, it's important, especially nowadays, like on social, you have to be relatable, you have to be likable. So there's things, all of us are different. We're all unique. Like we all have opinions and perspectives and things that we've all, experienced, but people are hesitant to share those things because of just self-doubt or anxiety or just, judgment. All those, all the cliche things that we hear about and make easy excuses around. But, if you just double down and just consistently create, 3 or 4 pillar content areas, and maybe one of them is every week you focus on your favorite spot in town. It's just like a fun video, you going into that establishment. Katie Day does a great job with this. Move Me to Texas, I think is her handle. I'm actually doing a conference with her next month. She has great content, and that's why I'm putting together this video marketing playbook too. And I'll be sure to share that with everyone here too. But I'm basically creating 7 to 9 different content pillar angles that people can consistently create content around these topics. So, there's favorite things to do. There's educational series, FAQs. There's a lot of things hyper locally, but also niche. Even market updates. Doing a quick buyer or seller market update weekly. It's only 52 posts. It's really not a lot. So, but I think driving home that consistent content around those, pillar angles, that's the most important thing. But you have to find out what makes you unique first. And then the other thing, Randy, is I would suggest people to look at other accounts. Go look at some people that are putting out great content. I know you can probably think of 2 or 3 people off the top of your head right now that you follow that maybe you like their content, but you never really have studied it. You never really have actually strategically thought about why they're doing this or why they're doing that. And maybe even reach out to them, but I think, if you just started strategically thinking about what makes you unique and how you can create consistent content around that, that is what helps grow your brand. And then all those other things to engage and delight and convert people, that is, the second phase, in my opinion. The first part is you have to attract people with valuable, value in any way.
And I want to point something out too about the being unique piece, right? Because I think this is a question people get super caught up on, as if they're supposed to be able to answer that with some jaw-dropping, amazing, just revolutionary type answer. I'm unique because I'm the only person out of 330 million people in America who does this one thing. That's not at all what it is. It's being authentically you. And people, when you are authentically you, people are going to see themselves in you, right? And you'll attract the people that you'll want to work with. So it's being authentically you, and that is unique enough to begin the flywheel of attracting and engaging.
Right. Yeah. It's not so much unique as in the idea. What I'm saying unique is it's the style, it's the delivery, it's you, it's your DNA. That is what has to be unique and what will be unique. But you're exactly right, man. It boils down to leaning into who you are, not, being authentic, and then creating content around that and not being afraid to, put yourself out there. I've seen this time and time again, the benefits, it's there.
It works. It works.
Yes.
It works. And people are just concerned or they get worried about being vulnerable. But
yeah, absolutely.
Being authentic is unique. And what I thought was a fantastic example of this was JJ Watt, one of the best defensive linemen probably ever to play the game, right? He posted a video on social media the other day calling out all phony fitness people who post videos of them lifting weights with completely fake weights. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I had never heard of it, but he posts this video and it looks like he's lifting a bajillion pounds, and then he puts it down and he pulls one of the weights off, and the weight is this big, it's the size of your thickness of your hand.
Right.
And he points the camera at it and it says it's 5 pounds. Right.
Wow.
So there's just an unlimited amount of phoniness for all of you Catcher in the Rye fans, just so much phoniness on the internet. If you are authentic, that is unique, and people will be attracted to that. More importantly, the people you want to be attracted to that, right?
Absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah. I'll leave it with this too, because I think that this kind of wraps it up too, because obviously we're talking about building your brand and kind of attracting people, but the next phase is in your strategy, having those pixels in place, having the remarketing ads in place, that you're capturing all of that traffic that you're attracting, or that you're, getting people back to your site, maybe from your database or from just other lists that you may have imported into Facebook. But you absolutely want to make sure that you have that flywheel in motion. Don't just, you have to start, but also make sure that you have those things that are in the pipeline that are at least catching the people, that as they're showing more intent, as they're qualifying themselves, you still have opportunities to generate leads. You still have opportunities to leverage the Chime platform, because, at the end of the day, you're building your brand, you're doing your marketing, you're doing your advertising, but it really boils down to the tools that you're leveraging. And that's, again, going back to the point, like Chime, it's great for us because it makes us more confident that we can deliver on what we promise for clients. And that's what we're here to do. So.
Well, yeah, so that's why people hire you, because you know how to take that next step of getting the pixels and getting the analytics, plugging it into the Chime site and making the most of it, right? Like you make videos, you make videos and you're authentic and you're you, and you'll get some results. But if you are concerned with optimizing and getting the most out of your efforts, then you hire the guys from Dippidi and they make sure that happens.
That's right, guys.
Yeah, you can basically call us the Nerd Squad instead of the Geek Squad at Best Buy. Yeah.
Geek Squad.
I'm trying to think of a cool video around that, maybe.
Is that the new name you guys are picking?
Say it again?
I said, is that the new name you guys are going with?
Yeah, the Nerd Squad. I don't know. It kind of has a ring to it. It's either going to be that, or like we're thinking of doing a parody commercial, like Dippidi, 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 Dippidi. Like the Liberty Mutual.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like it. No, the Nerd Squad is going to be the main villains in Space Jam 3. and Tyler is going to be the main protagonist.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, guys.
That'd be epic.
All right, Tyler, if people want to get a hold of you or test out your product, where do they go?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions around marketing, branding, or advertising, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow Dippidi on Instagram. We put out consistent content, just as we're talking about, that helps just our audience. You can go to our website, Dippidi.com, if you're interested in possibly hiring us for Google PPC or for Facebook or Instagram ads, or even content for your website. So we do custom content for sites as well. So there's a few different packages. You can go on our site. Everything's front facing. We have our pricing on there. We try to keep everything pretty transparent and easy for people to understand what we do and why we do it. And then reach out. My Calendly is on there, so you can schedule a call with me and whatever time and date's best for you. But yeah, we are always here, readily to help. And I'm just grateful for you guys to have me on here again. I think both of what you guys are doing is amazing. Tristan, I've been following you for a few years now, and your content, I love what you do. So I think just the way that we've connected is through content. So, that just kind of, reiterates our point here is, you create connections through content, and content creates customers and conversion. So, or just, relationships, friendships, like, here. So, I love it, man. I'm just thankful. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, just give me a shout.
I love it. Thank you so much. Again, we've got Randy with Chime, so check out Chime CRM. And Tyler, thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, guys. Yep. Talk soon.
See ya.
All righty. Go Bucks.